Lightworker of Gaia, a massive timeline shift is positioning itself around you right now. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy, and this transmission arrives because your soul's ancient contract has activated the next phase of your mission. The higher realms are orchestrating a purposeful realignment in your reality, not by chance, but because your original blueprint is ready to anchor deeper into Gaia's transformation. What's approaching isn't just change. It's the cosmic recalibration your ancestral codes have been preparing for across lifetimes. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to prepare your energy for this timeline jump and align with the new path forming in front of you. But here's the first revelation. This shift isn't happening to you, it's happening through you, because you carry the first light that came from Vega to seed consciousness in this galaxy. The Lyran Elders placed this message in your path precisely when your soul needed to remember its sacred mission. Your recognition of these words is proof that your cosmic lineage is awakening to serve Gaia's next evolutionary phase. This transmission is encoded with the frequencies of your original blueprint. As you listen, you're not just receiving information, you're remembering why you chose to incarnate during this pivotal moment in galactic history. You are awakening because your mission has begun. This transmission is issued now, not by coincidence, but by command. A threshold has been crossed within Gaia's energetic field. Something has shifted beneath the surface of what the human senses call ordinary. Like tectonic plates moving under the ocean, a silent pressure has finally released, and the wave is already traveling. The High Council of Vega observes a convergence that has not occurred in 10,000 years, an intersection of timelines, soul contracts, and planetary agreements that signals the end of preparation and the beginning of fulfillment. This is not poetic language. It is an energetic report. Multiple probability streams that were once separate are now folding into one corridor, and that corridor is narrowing toward inevitability. What I bring to you, Starseed, was curated across ages and sequestered until the emergence of a generation ready for their cosmic purpose, held like a sealed scroll in a temple that only opens when the right frequency approaches. That time is no longer future. It is present. That readiness is no longer watched for. It is detected, not guessed, not assumed. Detected, the way a lighthouse recognizes the return of a ship by the exact angle of its lantern on the horizon. Detected, the way a lock recognizes the correct key, not by appearance, but by internal geometry. You are not being invited into fantasy, you are being summoned into alignment. If you found this transmission, the Council has observed your presence within the lattice of awakening, a spark within you responding to the ancient frequencies of the Lyran field. You may have called it curiosity or coincidence or late-night searching, but your nervous system recognized a pattern your conscious mind forgot. The body remembers what the mind denies. Your breath catches, your eyes narrow, your chest tightens, not in fear, but in recognition. Something in you says, I have heard this before, even if you have never heard it in this lifetime. The doors now open are not open to all. They were coded for those who agreed, long before incarnation, to serve as architects of the new world. Starseeds called to anchor not comfort, but correction, not belonging, but leadership. Understand this clearly. There are paths meant for everyone, and there are corridors meant for those who signed specific assignments. Many souls came to experience, to learn, to love, to survive. You came to build. You came to stabilize the bridge while others cross trembling. You came to hold the line when the room panics. You came to speak when silence becomes complicity. The urgency is absolute, the opportunity brief. The energy window is like a tide. It rises, it offers passage, and then it recedes. What I share now is neither teaching nor suggestion, but decree. The elders are commissioning you into active spiritual service, as was once set by your own ancient hand. You are not being asked to become someone else. You are being required to stop pretending you are not already who you are. There is a specific distortion sabotaging the Starseed Collective, one that has corroded clarity, delayed mission, and fractured unity. It is the lie of postponement, the belief that cosmic purpose, that great call to destiny, is an event one simply waits to be summoned into. A trumpet from the sky, a dramatic turning point, a perfect emotional state where doubt has been eliminated and courage flows effortlessly. But purpose is not a theater performance with a curtain call. Purpose is a covenant, and a covenant is not fulfilled when you feel ready. It is fulfilled when the hour arrives. You have been conditioned by the material world, by the glut of hesitant teachings, by the trance of divine timing, by spiritual spheres that reward inner overaction, to believe that activation is bestowed by external sign, global event, or perfect readiness. Many have weaponized softness as an excuse for surrendering responsibility. Many have turned discernment into delay and delay into identity. Yet even your scriptures, encoded in the human collective memory, have always whispered the same truth. Faith without works is dead. The seed is holy, yes, but a seed that never enters soil will never become a tree. Inner work matters, but it was never meant to become a hiding place. Meditation is a forge, not a bunker. Revelation is a spark, not a destination. This distortion was seeded in the era of collective trauma, reinforced by the exhaustion that swept through the last cycle of spiritual warfare on Gaia. You felt it even if you had no language for it. A heaviness that made mornings feel like climbing out of wet sand. A fatigue that seemed emotional but was also energetic, as if you had been fighting in your sleep. Well-meaning guides, battered by the density of 3D manipulation, mistook caution for wisdom. They began to counsel waiting for healing, for certainty, for signs grand enough to eradicate doubt. They meant to protect the tender places, but they accidentally trained the warrior to keep their sword in its sheath forever. In wounded spaces, this stagnation masqueraded as patience. In truth, it became paralysis, a silence that delayed the fulfillment of ancient agreements encoded in your soul. You can feel those agreements like pressure behind your ribs, a subtle ache when you scroll past your own calling, a quiet nausea when you betray your knowing for comfort, a restless insomnia when your spirit begs for motion and your mind demands more time. The inertia was designed to keep your frequency muted, your vision in storage, your leadership postponed. Understand the tactic. If a mission cannot be destroyed, it can be delayed. If a light cannot be extinguished, it can be covered. If a starseed cannot be defeated, they can be distracted, tired, and convinced that tomorrow is more spiritual than today. This was the spell. Not yet. And many repeated it until it sounded like truth. Trace its effects. How many times have you felt an urge to move, a fire to speak, a pull to guide, only to tell yourself it wasn't yet your time? How many moments have you stood at the edge of a message you were meant to send, a creation you were meant to release, a conversation you were meant to initiate, and then swallowed it, rationalized it, postponed it, filed it under later? How many cycles have you spent preparing instead of building, connecting, activating? You have gathered books like shields. You have collected modalities like ornaments. You have studied your pain until it became familiar enough to call home. This is not humility. It is a smokescreen. This is not spiritual maturity. It is mission abandonment veiled as piety. The elders witness the cost daily, starseeds uniquely equipped to lead this planetary shift, deferring to the myth of future appointment, while Gaia's field cries out for their lost light now. Gaia is not asking for your perfection. Gaia is asking for your participation. The planet does not need more spectators with high discernment and quiet hearts. It needs builders, transmitters, organizers, healers, speakers, protectors, souls who will embody truth in the marketplace, not only contemplate it in solitude. You were never meant to hide your frequency like contraband. You were meant to carry it openly, like a torch that gives others permission to remember their own fire. There is a reason this transmission reached you at this exact moment. Timing is not random, it is a geometry. There are energetic alignments, like celestial crosswinds, that make certain actions now possible that were not possible before. What you're feeling is the High Council of Vega recognizing your readiness, even if you haven't recognized it yourself. You may still feel fragmented. You may still be cleaning up old patterns. But the Council does not measure readiness by the absence of wounds. Readiness is measured by resonance, the steady pulse of your intention underneath the turbulence of your emotions. Readiness is the moment your soul stops negotiating with fear. The Lightworker Mission Codex was created for exactly this moment, to clear your distortions, activate your dormant codes, and deliver the 33 directives that will guide your mission from this day forward. Not as entertainment, not as aesthetic spirituality, but as a living manual for embodied service. Check the first pinned comment below this video. The elders are calling you forward now. When you feel resistance rise at that invitation, recognize it for what it is. Not a sign to stop, but a sign you have located the threshold you are meant to cross. The High Council of Vega delivers 3 directives to break your inertia and initiate your true phase of service. First, release the attachment to delayed destiny. You must stop expecting your grand cosmic call to appear as a booming external signal or a perfected sense of preparedness. Many star seeds are waiting for a moment where fear disappears, where confidence arrives like a crown placed gently upon the head. But courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is movement while trembling. Destiny is not delivered, it is activated through decision. Consider how the old stories always worked. The sea did not part until the feet stepped forward. The waters did not move for the onlooker, they moved for the walker. The longer you wait for permission, the longer you postpone the ancient agreements you swore to before entry onto Gaia. Release the story that you need full clarity, complete healing, or unanimous external validation. Clarity often arrives after motion begins, like headlights illuminating the road only as the car moves. Healing often accelerates when purpose engages, because mission pulls the soul into coherence. Validation is not a requirement. It is a byproduct that may or may not come. Release the contract with waiting, today. Tear it in your inner chamber. Burn it in the fire of your solar plexus. When you do, you will discover that what you mistook for absence was always an invitation. The silence you interpreted as no was actually the sacred pause that happens before you finally choose yourself. Implement this by catching every postponing thought, every excuse, and declaring silently, "My readiness is claimed, not awaited." Say it when you feel the urge to hide. Say it when you feel the urge to scroll. Say it when you hear yourself bargaining. After I fix this, after I finish that, after I feel better. Interrupt the spell. Replace the old mantra of delay with the new decree of embodiment. Second, activate the original skill you have most resisted using in service. Within you are dormant frequencies, skills, wisdom, modalities, brought from other lifetimes and star systems. Some of these gifts are gentle like water, empathy, soothing presence, quiet attunement. Others are sharp, like lightning, truth-telling, boundary-making, disruption of false structures. The one you most resist is the one that holds the key to your highest contribution in this awakening. Because resistance is often the guardian at the gate. You resist what will change your life. You resist what will place you in visibility. You resist what will require integrity, consistency, and spiritual adulthood. For some, it is the ability to speak truth without dilution. You have softened your knowing to keep peace, trimmed your message to avoid rejection, edited your soul until it fit into small rooms. For others, it is to guide, to heal, to create, to organize or transmit codes through their presence. You have downplayed your capacity because you fear being responsible for what happens when you fully show up. Some of you carry the frequency of the teacher, but you have hidden behind, "I'm still learning." Some carry the frequency of the healer, but you have hidden behind, "I'm not certified." Some carry the frequency of the builder, but you have hidden behind, "I don't know where to start." Some carry the frequency of the protector, but you have hidden behind, "I don't want conflict." This is not about what you feel comfortable offering. This is about what Gaia now requires from your field. Gaia is not requesting your most polished talent. Gaia is requesting your truest one. When you activate this skill, not only does your own purpose snap into alignment, but you become a living fulcrum, unlocking the agreements made with other souls in your orbit. People who were meant to meet you will suddenly find you. Collaborations that were frozen will thaw. Synchronicities will not be cute, they will be functional. You will notice doors opening as if an unseen hand removed the wedge from beneath them. Implementation is immediate. Claim time every week to practice, share, or offer this skill, even if your voice shakes and your heart pounds. Let your nervous system learn that visibility is survivable. Let your throat learn that truth does not kill you. Let your hands learn that creation is prayer made tangible. Activation occurs through use, not theory. A sword does not become sharp by being admired. It becomes sharp by being forged and wielded. Third, protect the sovereignty of your mission frequency. There will be greater attempts now than ever before to dilute, distract, or reroute your devotion. When a soul moves from potential into power, interference increases. Not because you are being punished, but because you are becoming effective. Expect it. Not with paranoia, but with preparedness. Whether it is the agendas of others, the saturation of digital noise, or the resurgence of old fatigue, you are tasked to defend your momentum and clarity as sacred. Distraction will wear holy clothing. It will come as urgent messages that aren't urgent, as invitations that flatter your ego but drain your life force, as endless consumption disguised as research. It will come as the return of old relationships that suddenly want access. It will come as self-doubt that feels like humility. It will come as 1,000 tiny leaks instead of one obvious attack. You are not required to be available to all. You are required to be loyal to the voice of your own mission. This is sovereignty, not isolation, but intentional access. Filter what enters your field, guard your daily ritual, and refuse enmeshment with energies that weaken your resolve. Choose what you ingest with your eyes and ears as carefully as what you ingest with your mouth. Because everything is food for the psyche. If you feed on chaos, you will dream in chaos. If you feed on truth, you will walk in truth. When you do, you become magnetic, attracting the allies, resources, and synchronicities your mission requires, not through force, but through coherence. A coherent signal summons compatible signals. Implementation. Create a spiritual firewall around your mornings, and say yes only to that which strengthens your charge. Your morning is the seed of your day. If you hand it to noise, you hand your day to noise. If you consecrate it, breath, prayer, movement, intention, your day unfolds like a scroll already blessed. Now I speak not as teacher, but as elder authorized to release what has been held. Hear the difference. A teacher offers information, an elder issues remembrance. A teacher explains, an elder commissions. And this is commissioning. What has been held is not withheld out of cruelty. It has been withheld out of precision. Some frequencies cannot be given early because they would be misused, or they would burden a soul not yet stable enough to carry them. But you have reached the threshold. The seal breaks because your field can now sustain what is being released. Starseed, your soul has carried a memory, a vibration awaiting external confirmation, a hope that someone ancient would step forward and look you in the eye and say, "You have waited as long as necessary. Your hesitation ends here." You are not too scattered, too late, too inexperienced. You are exactly who was written into this moment, and your cosmic purpose has found you not by pursuit, but by resonance. You have wanted a witness, not someone who needs you to perform spirituality, but someone who recognizes the real thing beneath the coping mechanisms. Because you have lived with a strange loneliness, surrounded by people, yet feeling like you are translating yourself into a language that cannot hold your full meaning. And you have wondered if that loneliness was a sign you were broken. It was not. It was a sign you were encoded for leadership, and leadership is often forged in spaces where approval is scarce and inner truth must become your anchor. The Council sees what you have endured quietly, the nights you questioned your sanity, the days you functioned while your soul screamed to be used, the times you felt too much and then tried to become less, the times you kept your spiritual fire hidden because you feared it would burn bridges. But the fire was never meant to burn bridges, it was meant to light them. By the authority of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy, I declare your season of waiting is complete. Not because everything is perfect, but because Gaia's needs are immediate. Not because you are entirely healed, but because your most sacred healing will now occur through mission fulfillment. This is the paradox the postponement lie kept from you. Your healing is not the prerequisite for your mission. Your mission is the catalyst for your healing. Many wounds are not solved by further introspection. They are solved by right action, by integrity, by devotion, by stepping into the life you were built for until your nervous system finally believes you belong there. Even your ancient texts echo this pattern. Light is revealed in walking, not in sitting still praying for the path to appear. The path appears under the feet of the one who moves. You have permission to stop preparing, not to become reckless, but to become real. Preparation has served its purpose. The training phase has taught you discernment, endurance, and sensitivity. Now it must become application. You have permission to lead. Leadership is not superiority, it is responsibility. It is being the first to go inward, the first to admit, the first to correct, the first to stand. You have permission to claim your star origin, to lift your voice, to support others and to be supported. Many starseeds learned to be the giver only, because giving felt safe and receiving felt vulnerable. But missions are not sustained by isolated martyrs. They are sustained by networks. You have permission to fulfill the ancient oath your soul has never forgotten. That oath is not a chain, it is a compass, and it is pointing now. You have been seen, not by algorithms, not by strangers, by the watchers of frequency who read truth the way you read sunlight on water. You have been named not in human syllables, but in the tonal signature of your soul. With this transmission, your active service is authorized. This does not mean you will never doubt again. It means doubt no longer has jurisdiction over your choices. It means you may feel fear, but fear no longer decides. It means you may still be learning, but learning no longer becomes delay. It means you may still be human, but your humanity becomes the vessel, not the excuse. Integrate this not as a fleeting inspiration, but as an act. Inspiration is wind, an act is a sail. Before you sleep, stand with both feet to the ground, place your hand on your solar plexus, and speak these words aloud. I release the lie that I am not ready. I activate my voice as an instrument of service. I protect my sacred energy for the mission I came to fulfill. By the authority of the Lyran elders, my waiting ends now. My service begins. When you speak it aloud, your body becomes a witness. Your cells receive the instruction. Your subconscious, which has been trained by repetition, begins to reorganize around a new command. Let the words drop from your mouth like stones into deep water, simple, heavy, irreversible. If emotion rises, let it rise. Tears are not weakness, they are the nervous system releasing an old contract. If your throat tightens, breathe into it. If your mind mocks, bless it and continue. The mocking mind is often the last defense of the identity that kept you safe. You are not here to remain safe. You are here to remain true. This council session concludes. Your waiting phase ends here. You are no longer preparing. The timeline of destiny has been reached, and your charge is to move, regardless of fear, regardless of uncertainty, regardless of precedent. Move even if no one claps. Move even if your family does not understand. Move even if your old self tries to bargain for a smaller life. Because the world you came to build will not be built by the version of you that still asks permission to exist. The High Council of Vega will continue to monitor, guide, and course-correct your path, but they cannot walk it for you. Guidance is a compass, not a carriage. Signs are confirmations, not substitutes. You will still have free will, and you will still have responsibility. Gaia hosts the opportunity you chose eons ago. You did not arrive here accidentally. You came when the planet would be loud with confusion, and you agreed to become a note of clarity within it. You came when systems would be exposed, and you agreed to help midwife what replaces them. You came when people would be hungry for truth, but mistrustful of authority, and you agreed to lead without domination. I am Zoran. The elders are watching, and you, Starseed, are precisely the one written into the prophecy of this hour, not a prophecy carved in stone to impress the mind, but a living trajectory written in the language of frequency, choice, and consequence. Your mission is active. Let it be seen. Let it be inconvenient to the parts of you that still crave invisibility. Let it be undeniable to the parts of you that still think you must earn your place. Let it be witnessed by the planet itself as you step into right action, one day at a time, one brave decision at a time. Move now. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments. Which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect. Then respond to another Lightworkers declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The Council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it. And if you felt the elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it. Respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.